Okay, so let's talk about microdosing and the potential anxiety that it can cause anybody who, let's say, microdoses long enough. I know at least 4 people personally, okay? And I've just talked to somebody else recently, one of you guys via Skype. And it's a very similar experience. I started microdosing. It was fantastic. Oh my God. I was like Zeus himself, okay? And I was just a god, a goddess. It's been, superhuman. My ability to focus has increased. My social interactions are amazing. All the benefits that come with it. My workouts are 10 times better. Okay, a month later, I just experienced some big anxiety. I think I better put off the psychedelics for a little while here. I'm gonna stop microdosing. I'm telling you, I know at least 4 people, personally. These are personal people that I know. Exact same thing. They microdosed for a month or 2, and then they loved it in the beginning. Oh, they were ranting about it. They're like, this is it, changed my life. And then a month or 2 later, they've had sudden anxiety from it. So-called sudden, but really it isn't. And they said, no more psychedelics, put it aside. I don't want to microdose right now. Which is, by the way, if that's what happens and you start to experience anxiety from microdosing, that is the right decision to do, is put the psychedelics down. Just put them down. If they're causing anxiety, lay off the acid, lay off the shrooms, okay? It's very simple. If your stomach hurts, lay off eating, right? Because you've been eating too much, lay off eating for a little while, do a little fasting to heal. Same thing. If these medicines are causing you anxiety, it's like, try and take like 20 Advils or something. You can probably overdose, right? It'll cause you all sorts of side effects. It's supposed to be a medicine. You're taking too much, too fast, too often, and it's causing you issues. Now, I don't think Advil is a medicine, but that's just an example that I wanted to use, okay? So if you use a medicine, you could use it too much and too often and too frequent. And same thing with psychedelics. You could use them too often, too frequent, and too quick. Too quick, you can jump into it, okay? And you experience the inevitable anxiety. Inevitable. Okay, why is that happening? And how can you prevent it the next time you decide to dabble with psychedelics again and maybe go through another bout of microdosing? Okay, well, first of all, usually when we microdose, we're microdosing so we can sort of do our day-to-day social interactions and social obligations and our work just more effectively. In other words, we are staying within the confines of society. I mean, nobody microdoses to experience God. Nobody microdoses to speak to angels and channel their ancestors. The purpose of microdosing is to improve your day-to-day social role, social interactions, social activities, social obligations, such as your work, such as your workouts, such as your relationships with other people, your conversations, your productivity, etc. Okay? Now, the problem with that is, although you're microdosing, you're taking small doses, sooner or later, that microdose is going to make you question all social norms, all social codes of conduct, all social behaviors, and worst of all social systems, such as the system of money, the system of sexuality and marriage. And that's the problem, okay? Is that sooner or later, the repeated use of psychedelics, microdosing, will get you to question all these things, and might even make you start to behave out of control. And it will probably start to make you behave a little out of control. And your ego is gonna come and say, hey, dude, do that. Hey, look, you're kind of You're stepping out of line here, you know? Go, get back to your social roles, get back to your the social norms. What are you doing here, you know? And you start to experience anxiety because you're experiencing now yourself as a little bit more wild than usual. I mean, these things will make your behavior more wild because you're just more free to be, okay? Which comes, the wilderness with it comes. And yeah, if you're at work, in a desk 9 to 5 dealing with all these sick, depressed people, okay, and here you are microdosing and you're a little bit wild, and then everyone else around you is inevitably going to realize that, and they're going to start to dislike you for it, okay, because they can see you got something that they don't have, causing you anxiety. Because see, that naturally by microdosing you are challenging all of society just by being, because you're gonna be a different thing than what most people in society are. And then inevitably your ego says, what are you doing, dude? Like you're being rejected by society now, by your work co-workers, or by, you know, whatever, your community. You know, like one thing when I started microdosing is I go to the gym, and when I go to the gym, I'm pretty wild. Very wild, got music on, very, very wild, like I don't even belong in a gym. I belong in a jungle or something, okay? Like, you know, honestly, when I'm in that state of just, I'm working out, I'm jumping up and down, and I'm not gym material because you still gotta behave in a certain way. I'm more like jungle, like, you know, which is why I prefer now to do my workouts outside. We have this natural wilderness in us, and when you do psychedelics and you microdose, you become this wild man, this wild woman. So, of course, let's say you go to the gym and you're starting to be wild and stuff, and you look around you and you start to, you know, your mind starts to create stories like, you know, everyone doesn't like you here, everyone hates you, you know, you're, you know, this and that, and what are you doing, you're so loud, you're like this and that, and your mind starts to create, your ego starts to create all these negative annotations and storylines associated with your abnormal, because it's an abnormal way of behaving in society, and then that causes you anxiety. And I swear, I looked at all the people that I know, and these are people I know personally, close relationships with, and I saw their anxiety, and I right away I was able to tell that that's what happened. But unfortunately, I can't tell them that. I didn't, just, you know, like the Tao Te Ching says, when nothing is done, nothing is left undone. So it's like you know, because if no one comes and seeks you out and says, hey, like this what happened, and you know, what do you think? You stay away from it, you know, because people can get defensive and you can come off as like a preacher. But I saw that that's what's happening, that they're not yet able to fully express the state of being in society without even feeling judged, without judging themselves for it. That's what it is. Like, I went to the gym yesterday, and I took a third of a tab, okay? And I was doing my usual thing, you know, just extraordinarily doing the handstands, the back levers, the gymnastics, dancing all the time with my music. But I felt zero self-consciousness, zero judgment, because I have become very, very, very comfortable with just being, whatever being is, because I understand that all mental projections are illusions, and they're frankly quite full of shit, including my own mental projections, my own self-image. So I'm just being, because I am now at the level where I can just be without judging myself, because all these external voices that you feel like, oh, I'm being judged here because I'm different, because I'm acting differently in public, etc. That's all your own mind. You get rid of your own judgment on yourself and you're just comfortable with being, then you got no problem microdosing. Then microdosing is going to be one of the best things you've ever done, because it's going to just push you that extra little bit to just be whatever being is. Now, the way I even rationalize it is, okay, you might say like, Saeed, you're kind of being yourself in the gym, but don't you think that maybe invading other people's privacy or whatever? And I say that's not up for me to decide. That's up for the Tao. That's up for the way. That's up for God, for the divine, for the spirit. Because I've had people that came up to me and said, I feel so inspired by you just being yourself in the gym and doing your crazy weird things, and now I'm doing that more and more. And I've had people look at me like, fuck you. Like I've seen it. Like I've seen the looks like, fuck you, who do you think you are? Okay? But of course, because I'm doing all this crazy gymnastics, martial arts shit, it's like, okay, we better not fuck around with this guy, because you never know, he might like kick me in the face or something, okay? I can sense these things, but I've seen it. And actually, I've heard it. I've heard the gossip from other friends of mine saying, you know, those people, by the way, they really don't like you, you know? But is it up for me to decide those people that were inspired or the people that felt butthurt? No, it's nothing to do with me, in fact. That's just that everybody's gonna be touched by anything differently. Mental projections are just not my thing anymore. It's not something that I enjoy being in. It's not something that I like to dabble with too much. Like, oh, what do you think of me? Or, oh, you were really inspired. Oh, I feel good that you were inspired. Or, oh, you were butthurt. Oh, that's too bad. It's like, I don't care. I really don't care about neither, to be fully honest. It's like, you got inspired. Amazing. You're at the stage where that inspires you. That is good. That means you're high up the evolution ladder. Oh, you were butthurt. That means you just got attachments. You're attached to the way things should be, to the way people should behave. And I guess me just being, that's the divine, the spirit's lesson for you to be less attached. You see what I'm saying here? But that's not up for me. All I can do is be. That's all I can do is just be. And that's gonna make some people butthurt. That's gonna make some people inspired. Shouldn't be none of my business. Neither should be any of my business. Okay? It's just up to me for me to be. So yeah, that anxiety you experience from microdosing is still that judgmental, your own judgmental voice, because it takes time. It's a process to become comfortable with being, and being is always going to be out of line with the normal social behavior in any society you live in the world. A state of being does not match the social normal and social norms and social normal behaviors and codes of conduct. It just isn't. Being and society and being stuck in a social role they're mutually exclusive. Okay, they really are. Either being society doesn't like that, and people who are so programmed to be in, like people who get butthurt when they see me, for example, just do this weird crazy shit in the gym, because they have a model of reality, an attachment that you should just come in, and do your workout and just don't make any like noises, don't do any dancing. That's their model of reality, because that's the normal social behavior, normal social conduct. Okay? Now, again, state of being, it's always going to challenge that one way or another in any society that you're in the world. So be comfortable with your own judgmental voice that is looking at you saying, are you still fitting in with society? Is this, oh, people don't like you now. People don't like the way you're behaving now. You're too loud, or you're too this, or you're too that. You see? Once you're able to extricate yourself from your own judgmental voice, which again, that's why people feel anxious. I'm telling you, after like a month or two of microdosing, it's too much freedom, too much liberation. I'm getting way out of line with society here. Okay? Be comfortable with being. And if you're comfortable with being, then you can microdose. These things are supposed to only help us on our journey. We're not supposed to use them as a crutch. I still microdose now. But I'll tell you something. I was ready to microdose because I've done a lot of work before. This sounds very egotistic. I'm already but stay with me here for a bit. Before even starting microdosing, I've been microdosing for 1.5 years now. Never ever have I experienced anxiety. I'm always sort of laughing and everything is always beautiful. That's the truth. But before that, I've been doing a lot of work. Like I used to go and do social experiments. I used to go and shoot myself just recording and talking in the streets. So I already had been sort of comfortable with just kind of being, without psychedelics, without anything, just being. And then I did a lot of, I went on big trips and I did a lot of integration work after. So when it came down to microdosing, I was already comfortable. I would, it's just like taking something else that's just gonna plug me into a different thing. But I'm okay. I'm okay with this, with being. I'm okay with being. So you do your work on that. Don't use the microdosing to get you there. Instead, use it as like a, if you have like, if you made food and you put pepper and salt on it, use the microdosing as the pepper and the salt on your experience as a human being. Do not use it as the experience. Do not use it as the food. Okay? Do not use it as the food. If you have like rice, plain rice, and you want to put salt on it and pepper because it's going to taste better, right? Do not mistake the rice for the salt and the pepper. Do not mistake the rice. Do not make the rice, the actual food, the microdosing, the psychedelic. No, only make it the salt and the pepper. So it's just enhancing your experience of already just being comfortable with being comfortable with being out of line with society, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine, okay? So hopefully this video helps you and the many others that I've seen right in front of me experience this, okay? That's about it. Thank you, special thank you for our Patreons who support this channel. Your generosity means the world to me, and I can't tell you, like ever since I started Patreon and I've seen the support, and I just felt very comfortable. I'm feeling like there is a backbone here, like a community in which I can operate, I can do this stuff from. And that sort of gave me the inspiration to do the podcast, the live streams, etc., etc. So thank you guys. Here's a kiss for you, and if you would like to be part of the people that are receiving these special kisses, okay, but these kisses go for everyone, for real, they go for everyone. If you want to support us on Patreon, I will leave a link for where you can support. You can support with as little as $2 a month. That's, again, the equivalent of buying me a cup of tea, okay? And if enough people do it, it adds up, okay? So, link for the Patreon down below in the comments, in the description. Love you guys. Here are kisses for everyone. And until next time, may the force be with you.